Okay, I'm going to start recording now. Sorry, everyone. Okay, I knew I was going to do this. So some questions to ask agents that you interview. And I always, if you can be referred someone, fantastic. Especially if it's someone who's used them before for this demographic. If you don't have anyone, and if you're out of the city, also you can let me know. I have lots of agents who work in different parts of the country. So if you're looking for a referral, let me know. Anyway, interview at least 1 or 2 or 3 people and see who you like best. Ask them if they have any special designations. Ask them what their percentage of senior clients are. You know, do they? Mine is about 40% of my business. I work with the downsizing demographic, so I'm in it a lot. So ask that question. Ask them what other elements of the process they can support you on. Are they just going to help you with the sale of your home and the purchasing of something else, or can they offer some help in finding you the right retirement home if that's what you're looking for, right? Ask what other elements of the process they're going to be there for. Are they okay working with, you know, including your children in it or your parents, depending on where you're at in the process? Are they okay with more people being in on the conversation? Okay, because it's a family decision in a lot of cases. Ask them what you haven't thought of. So here's the thing. We know what we know. We know what we don't know, but we don't know what we don't know, right? So often when you're working with these professionals, ask them, like, what else do I need to know that I haven't asked you? Because there should be quite a lot of things if you're sort of new to that, right? So always make sure that you feel like they're asking you all the questions. There should always be more dialogue. And then maybe ask them about, if they have worked a lot with seniors, ask them, like, give me an example of a situation of a couple that you helped that you having this special designation really helped them through the process and that sort of thing. So those are always really good questions to ask. Am I going too quickly? Are you guys good?
No, we're good.
Okay. Things you can ask yourself when hiring. Again, and I don't mean to be disrespectful in these comments. I'm just laying it out there because a lot of them are common sense. But anyway, can you trust this person? Okay. For me, authenticity, anyone who knows me, authenticity is huge. I'm a very honest person. If I don't know the answer to a question, I will tell you I don't know and I'll find out for you. So sort of really read the person, because how they are with you is how they're going to be as your agent. So ask for referrals, ask for testimonials. I have testimonials from all the clients I work with. And so that's really important to sort of talk to people about, you know, how was it, or how was the agent? Did they help you? Were they good? You know, what didn't they do? And the other thing is never, ever, ever, ever feel pressured. And this comes from sort of, if you're the aging parents or if you're the children, don't ever feel pressured. There's a lot of agents out there who are extremely good and successful at what they do. But they're also very aggressive in their approach. So I had another client that I helped. I was at a seminar and she came up to me afterwards and said, my husband passed away a few years. I need to move. I don't know what to do. I said, okay. Made an appointment, came by to see her, went through the process, explained all the timing and stuff. And I think I went probably 3 or 4 times after that. And every time I visited her, she said, do you want me to sign something now? And I always said, no, whenever you're ready, we'll sign. It's all good. I'm not going anywhere. So we signed. I helped her with staging and moving some furniture and stuff. And so when we were done, we sold the home pretty quickly. And she said, you know, do you know why I hired you? And I said, no. She said, well, you're a really hard worker and you're hungry. I said, thanks. But she said, you were really patient with me. She said, I had called another big name in the area. And she said, he made me feel really small because she had a small home to sell. And then she called another brokerage and the agent kept calling her every day asking, are you ready to sign yet? And she said, I hadn't even met him. So she really appreciated my patience and my willingness to spend time with her and explain. And sometimes you have to explain stuff more than once because there's a lot to like explain it the first time. So I break it into pieces. Anyway, so someone who's really patient and doesn't pressure you is sort of a really good thing to look for in an agent, of course. Common sense, but are they listening to me? Are they asking you the right questions, right? Do they have your best interest at heart? If you say to them, listen, I don't want to sell, maybe I want to age at home. Will that agent support you and say, great, let's get you some help with putting in some handles in the bathroom, let's help you age at home safely? Or is that agent going to sort of, not be interested in talking to you anymore? Okay, so those are the things to be looking at. And yeah, just make sure they've answered all the questions, even the questions you don't know you have. And again, would you feel, when you're talking to this person, would you feel comfortable referring them to someone, right? That's usually a good indicator as well. And ask if they have a network of specialists, because that's always very helpful. So questions that agents should ask you, okay, you, the mover, or you, the children of the people who are needing to move. They should ask you why you're moving. Are you moving because you have to? Or are you moving because you want to? Have you researched all your options? Do you know where you're going? Or is that sort of an area of a piece of the puzzle that you need help with? If you can age at home, would they help you do that as well? Who else is getting it? Are you getting advice from? Are you getting advice from your neighbors, your friends, your children, that sort of thing? And then I'm always asking too, do you have a lawyer? Do you have a financial planner? Do you have these types of services that you might use? And if not, then I can definitely, the agent should be able to refer them to you. And then I always ask when the last time is that you sold your home, right? So if they've been in their home for a really long time, there's a lot of emotional attachment to those homes. I've had this experience of a woman whose husband passed away in the home. And so it was interesting because she really wanted to sell. I could tell she really wanted to sell, but energetically she was being held back. And so it was this like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And there was a lot of discussion about that. And again, never rushing anyone, but just trying to help her understand why she might be feeling like she didn't want to go, but she wanted to go. So sometimes you have to be a psychologist to help people through the process a little bit. And then I always ask them, sort of, what's the biggest hurdle? Like, what's the biggest concern or worry? Is it, how much will I get for my house? Is it, what do I do with my stuff? Is it, I don't know where I'm going to go? Is it, should I rent or should I buy? There's lots of different perspectives and lots of different concerns from people. Everyone's at a different stage. So those are always, and something that I often do too, is sometimes I'll have people who have been in their home 40, 50 years. And I have one right now, and they want to buy a bungalow. And I know both of them are very, 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 very elderly and not very mobile. And he wants to buy a bungalow, and I've spoken to the daughter, and I don't think that's the best thing for them. But I try to sort of guide them with questions like, if your knees are already a problem and you're in a 2-story house, okay, they're already a problem. And you don't want to move again in 5 years or 10 years. Think about that. Think about, how is my health going to be in the near future? And will I be able to do stairs? Will I want to be doing stairs? Or should I be thinking about, maybe buying a condo or maybe renting a one level home so that I'm not having to move again? And sometimes that's just food for thought, right? And that's where the planning comes in, questions to ask and discussions to be had about, okay, so Mom, if your knees are bad already, maybe we should consider either a condo or so that you're not having to go up and down stairs. So those are the types of things that I ask. Any questions so far? I've got a bit more to go. What's changed in real estate? The simple answer is a lot has changed. Again, the Romes, how long have you lived in your home in North Bay?
Just this one, 15 years.
15 years, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so not that long, but you know, sometimes people have been in their family home for a really long time. So things have changed. Like I remember when my parents sold their house when we were teenagers, we literally put a sign, well, the sign was put on the front lawn and that was it. There was no staging, there was no video, like it was just very simple. And now it can be a lot more complicated. So buyers are much better informed than they used to be, right? Everything's online. They've seen your pictures. They've seen the video of your home. They've researched. They know everything about the property before they go and see it. So technology is a large part of how we do business now. And again, depending on, okay, I'll answer your question in a second, Sharon. Depending on how long you've been in the home, it really depends on sort of the technology. Sometimes people may not have a computer, they may not be computer literate, so there's things there to deal with. Differences now in marketing your home versus now in the past. Like I said before, it was very simple. Now, you know, you don't need to, but often people get a stager in, professional photographers, there's videos done, you know, all very much on social media, that type of thing. Paperwork is mostly done electronically now. I do have clients who don't do that, so I'm in my car driving back and forth, which is totally okay. But again, that's something that's changed. Home staging is something new. And then the other thing is sort of, do you sell your home as is, which is a question I get all the time, or do you upgrade it a little bit? So a lot of people will say to me, oh, I need to redo my kitchen before I sell. Not necessarily. I would say no. So really depends on the situation, and this is some other guidance that the agent will give you, whether or not, like, there's little things you can do to increase the value, or at least increase the added value of your home. And then there's things that I wouldn't recommend doing, because if your kitchen is dated and you're going to spend 30 grand on a kitchen, the buyer is going to come in and they may want to change it. So why would you do that, right? So those are the types of things that an agent can really guide you through. And then home inspections is also something new that maybe 30, 40 years ago weren't done. Now they are. In this crazy market that we're in right now, we'll talk about that in a second, but not as important, but still an issue. Okay, people are spending a lot of money on a home. They want to know that the home is structurally sound. Okay, I'm going to answer your question, Sherry. Do you have a say at the end of the day of how much you want to list your home with? Yes. So great question, Sharon. So when you have someone in to do a market analysis of your home, what we do is we take a look at the last 12 months. Now, because the industry is really crazy, we might take the last 3 months and take comparables of your home and say, okay, in the last 3 months, 7 homes have sold that are comparable to yours. This is the range they've sold in. If I were to go to market, I would suggest X amount. Okay. At the end of the day, the client has you can list at whatever you want. If I say your house is worth 600,000 and you want to list it for 7, I've given you the numbers, I've given you the information. At the end of the day, you list it whatever you want. The agent has just given you a professional opinion of what it will sell for. So yes, at the end of the day, the client has a say, but that's why agents are here, so that we can give you a good value of what it's worth. Okay, hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so real estate during COVID, I thought I would touch upon that because that's a really big concern. I was talking with the senior director at a retirement home in Carp earlier this week, and the biggest concern that they have right now is people are waiting until COVID is over before they move into their retirement home, because there's a 2-week quarantine period. So COVID happened. We are declared an essential service, so we were able to continue working and helping people buy and sell. We have taken every precaution to make sure everyone's safe. So when COVID first started, there was a ban on open houses. So people were doing open houses virtually instead. We're only allowed 2 buyers and 1 agent in at every showing. And at the very beginning of COVID, what we were doing was listing agents would do a virtual tour video of the home. So what we do, we ask buyers to look at the virtual tour first, If they still really wanted to see the house, we would then go see it in person. But if not, then we're just trying to avoid, the old days where you'd go on a Saturday and go see 20 properties, right? So now we're only going to go see properties that we really, really want to go see and that the buyer is really interested in. Of course, masks are mandatory. There's no overlap showings. So showings are only 30 minutes now. They used to be an hour, and you're the only one in there. There's no overlap. And some things so because in this market, what we're doing is we're listing a property Monday, for example, taking offers on a Saturday. So for that week, because people are going to be coming in and out every 30 minutes, sometimes the sellers will move away for a week. They go to the cottage, or they, find somewhere to go for a week so that it's not so interruptive to their day, especially if people are working from home now too. So these are things that your agent can sort of help you through. And sometimes if it's a senior who is selling and they're moving into a retirement home, I often strongly suggest that they move first into their place that they're going to, and then list their property so that they're not bothered by people coming in. And it's a much more relaxed for them if they can manage it. If they don't need the funds from the sale of their home, then that's something that can also be done. Okay, I want to make sure there's room for questions, so I'm almost there. So then I thought I would talk a little bit about the current market. As you know, it's still a very hot seller's market. Very low inventory, and I'll go through some reasons why. So just to give you a little bit of a spotlight on what it's doing. So the average sale price in December for a residential home was $603,000. That was the average. In January, so a month later, it rose to 677. So a 12% increase in a month. February numbers suggest that it's going to go up another 10%. So we're looking at 740 something, which is $140,000 increase in average in a residential home. Condos as well have gone up, not as much, but they've gone up in about $51,000 on average in the last 3 months. So the question I get all the time is, why is inventory so low? What's going on? So the interest rates have been low for quite a while. So there are a lot of buyers who see the interest rates and go, oh, what a great time to buy, right? So lots of buyers are interested. Last year alone, I helped 16 first-time buyers buy, which was a challenge, but we did it. People are living longer, right? So they're aging at home. Back in the day, your parents were 60, they might move into a home or something, or move in with you, but now they're living longer, aging at home. So less homes are being put on the market. Continued and increased migration into Ottawa. So people are moving from Ottawa, or from Toronto, from Montreal to Ottawa, because we can all work from home now. So they're selling their semi-detached home in Toronto for over $1 million, coming to Ottawa, buying something for 5 or 6. It makes sense for them. Still lots of government and high-tech jobs, so people are moving here for that. Continued foreign buyers. We've been having other cities in Canada have been dealing with this. I know Vancouver and Toronto, where there's a lot of a lot of Asian foreign buyers buying up properties just because they need to do something with their money, and they're buying up inventory that we don't have. And a lot of people were buying up properties to then do Airbnbs for short-term rentals. So people were doing that a lot. And then with COVID, there's a lot of people who are just waiting. Like they're waiting for COVID to be over, then they're going to sell their house. So I think once COVID sort of settles down, we will have a lot more inventory, which will be great. Yeah. And I also think, I know this for sure, actually, there's a lot of people who want to buy, who want to sell, because it's a great time to sell, but then they've got to go somewhere. And what are they going to buy? So yeah, they'll make a couple $100,000 on their home, but then they've got to spend the same or more to get another place. So that's kind of my chat for today. Did you guys have any questions? Because I know I went through a lot of things, and Today's chat isn't like anything, you know, I haven't told you anything you didn't already know, just a friendly reminder of sort of what to do when you're looking at hiring an agent. Did anyone have any questions?
Hiring an agent, okay. Now, Kate.
Yep.
Would the agent go through the cost right up front, so that, you know, before the contract?
Yes. Yes. So are you talking about the commission specifically?
That and yeah, and other things, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So they should tell you sort of what the commission will be. Everyone knows the seller pays for the commission, and I know in Ottawa it's 5% is sort of the average. There are some people charge more. I don't really know who those are, but some people will charge less. But again, like anything else, you get what you pay for. So yes, some people will do it for 3%, but I don't know if it's up to you. It really depends on your perspective. But yeah, 5%, and that's split half and half between the buyer agent and the selling agent. But yes, go through all of that stuff beforehand. Closing costs, what will that cost you? What does a lawyer cost you? All of that kind of stuff should be discussed before you sign anything.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
And go through, like, now with COVID, I can't really see people like face to face. So a lot of times we have these Zoom calls. And so I go through all the contracts with them. I very important for me to make sure they understand what they're signing. So if someone says, here, sign this, make sure you have time to read it. And if you want a lawyer to go through it, just so that you feel comfortable, have a lawyer go through it and point things out to you and make sure that you understand what you're signing before you sign anything. Yes.
What area do you cover in the Ottawa area?
Sorry?
What area do you cover in the Ottawa area?
I cover all of Ottawa. I'm all over the place, and I'll even go. I go about an hour from Ottawa is as far as I'll go.
Okay, thanks.
Just because it's far. But yeah, like I've sold outside of the city and in the city. I can't sell in Quebec. I'm not licensed in Quebec, but if clients do have a need for Quebec, I have agents that I can refer them to. Yeah.
What real estate company do you represent?
I'm with Coldwell Banker, First Ottawa.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that. That's my bad. Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Not for me. I'm good.
Okay, so those of you who are sort of the children of the parents, so if you want to share, you don't have to. You can either send me an email later, or you can answer the question. What is your sort of biggest concern, or do you have any, or are you just kind of collecting information, or?
I'll share. I'm here with my sister who's in Alberta, and our parents live in a rural town just outside of Jasper. It's quite small. It's about 10,000 population. They've lived there since the early 80s. So there's some attachment there, and, they are elderly, and we see them, having less energy or interest in kind of maintaining the house that we grew up in.
Right.
So my sister and I are here today to kind of get tips on how to have that conversation in a productive way, to be able to support them from a distance, but also facilitate conversations about getting them into a new place. Right. And I think also, and I don't want to speak for my sister, but based on conversations we've had, there's some fears there about declining health, and wanting to tackle some things before we get to a state of emergency, which, would probably require me going back to Alberta for a period of time to help, and those kinds of issues. So it is a family project.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is why one of the reasons I wanted to do this with the different speakers that I have, because there's so many elements. Mine's kind of the easy one. It's the real estate stuff, as complicated as that can be, but it's the financial stuff. It's the health stuff. It's the, how do you have these conversations with parents? And sometimes the parents want to have it and we don't want to have it, because we don't want to think about our parents getting old. And sometimes it's the other way around. We want to talk about it and they don't want to talk about it. So it is a really, and to be very respectful of them too, right? Like the financing part, I have no idea my parents' financial status. They're fine, but like I don't know anything, and I feel like it's none of my business in a way, but it kind of is in a way as well, because once they've passed, then my brothers and I are left with sort of, did they have a plan? Were they well taken care of? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I'm hoping that you're going to get what you need, Linda, from this, and with the other speakers during the week, and I think you'll get some great information for sure. Thank you for sharing. Lisa, did you want to pop in?
I'm one of those kids that moved home to take care of her parents. So I'm seeing things firsthand, and I have to tell you, it doesn't make the conversations any easier.
Yeah.
The difficulty I have is my father has dementia, so he's not able to make decisions about even the smallest little thing. So we have to kind of dance around it. We actually probably waited too late. So anybody that's listening now, it's never too late to get a handle on a plan, as you had said, Anna. And I really, really like the probing question about what would happen if.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it can start off casually and maybe just get the ball rolling. And I intend to continue to use that.
Yeah.
And the good thing is we're already in a bungalow. So at least, the mobility side of it for my mom is good. It's just like, what do we do next?
Yeah.
What is the plan? We still don't even have one. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That's just more or less my opinion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, nice to see you.
You too. So I could probably chime in. It's different, I guess, for me. I have lived with my mom for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she did pass away a year ago.
I'm so sorry.
And thank you. It was sudden. So was there a plan? No, there wasn't a plan. Luckily, 2 months before she passed, we had just decided to get our wills done together.
Okay.
So thank goodness we had a will. But I love what you said about, what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you kind of don't know. So when we went to get our wills done, unfortunately, we didn't ask the right questions and therefore weren't giving the right answers. So I got stuck in I'm the executor, which is great, but then I got stuck in what is a probate and all that. So as far as selling, I have a rental property. So right now my questions are, do I move back to my house where it was my house before I moved in with my mom?
Yeah.
Do I sell my mom's house because I love it? I grew up here. I've been here since I was 5 years old, but the memories of her every time I turn is heartening.
Yeah.
And we were planning to move and buy a bigger house. And do I want to do that now? So
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
But a plan is great to have.
Yeah. And you know what, Sharon, it's a very, very, very common thing that you're going through. A lot of people go through that. And the experts always say, don't make any really quick decisions in the first year. Like sometimes someone will lose a spouse.
Right.
Want to sell their house right away. And the experts always say, just unless it's a very difficult thing to be in the home, that's different. But to sort of take some time and like really think about, and not to make any rash decisions, right? And I'm really sorry for your loss. That's tough.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm hoping that this series will help. And to all of you, you have my information. If you have any questions along the way, just throw me an email, call me, whatever. I'm always here to help. And Karen was asking that the response she gets when they don't know where they want to live and then they don't want to talk about it anymore. So again, right? Hard to talk about when you don't know what the options are. So are they the type of parents who would do okay in a retirement home, an adult living scenario? Would they be okay there? Would they be happy there? If yes, then doing some research into what's around them, what's possible. And there are businesses, I know there are here that I use a lot, that they're in, and she's actually going to be on week 3, I think, Christine. And what they do is they help my clients figure out where they want to go. So Christine knows the retirement industry like the back of her hand. And so what she does is she sits down with people and says, okay, what's your lifestyle like? What's important to you? You know, do you like to be around a lot of people, or do you want to, like, again, what are you looking for? And then she helps people find the right place. And it's a free charge. There's no charge for her. She gets paid by the retirement home that people end up going to. But there's also a lot of misconceptions about retirement homes. And I'm saying retirement homes like under the big umbrella. Lots of misconceptions about what they're like. You know, you can go and stay for a week or two to see if you like it. Like there's lots of different things that you can do, like that people can do that they don't know about. They think, oh, I'm gonna have to stay there. No, go try it out for a couple weeks. See what the food's like. There's lots of little programs that they have to sort of introduce people to the facilities and that kind of lifestyle. Sometimes people love it, sometimes they don't. And again, I hear this all the time. I'm not moving out of here until I'm in a pine box. You know, and you have to respect that. That's how they feel. But again, it's you've also got children probably somewhere worrying about you, right? And so how do you explain to your parents that, you know, you're doing this, you're having this conversation because you love them, and it's not because you're trying to get them into a home. It's not like we want to be done with you. It's you know, part of the conversation. What do you want? What do you need? What can we do to help? And then just making sure they have a plan. And again, for me, it's like, let's just talk about a plan, mom and dad. Let's just try to get some information out, and let's just see what we can do so that you end up in a good place, that you want to be happy, right? That so they feel like they have some control in what's going on, right? So anything else, guys, that you want to talk about, or anything that you want to make sure that I touch on during the next 5 weeks that I haven't listed, or you want to make sure we talk about?
No, but I'll probably think of something later, so
Yeah,
I'll contact you.
Yeah, email me if you've got something that you want to make sure we touch on, because I will make sure that happens. Yeah.
Okay. No, this is good. This gives us food for thought.
Yes, and that's the whole point. Wonderful. Great, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
Very
We'll see you next
informative.
week.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Anna.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Anna. Great
Bye.
start.
Thank
Have a good
you.
week, everyone.
Thanks.
Nice to meet
Bye.
you all.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.